partner. Kini sumala sa World Health Organization. Ako si Jendel Claire S. Aplaca, ang Gender and Development Coordinator para sa Non-Teaching Employees Association. Maghiusa kita, hunungon na ang violence against women.
Sa ngalan sa University God Resource Center o Bukidnon State University, nagkahiusa kita sa pag-ingon, atong tapuson ang violence against women.
This is 104.5
DXBU 104.5.
Sa dili madugay, inyo madungog ang programang Kaglambaga. Og ania ang atong mga kauban sa kahanginan.
Mayada mahapon inyo alan. Welcome to the Kaglambaga radio program sa DXBU 104.5 FM. Diri kita sa atong programa karon. This is sponsored by the Bukidnon Study Center. Ako si Soldin Layan. Mahimong inyong kauban karon nga hapon og sorry kaayo nga wala ang akong partner karon, but I want to greet Dato Balinao Virgilio Namok. Kay tungod si Dato pod daghan pod siya og mga responsibilities. But besides nga wala si Dato, magpadayon kita sa atong program. Og we will also want to greet the whole BukSU community, and we want to inform also the public nga ang atong panagtigom panaghigalaay 2023 art exhibit available pa siya karon, and this is until August 25, 2023. Ug naapagani ni siya posibilidad nga atong i-extend if there are some requests from our external stakeholders. So I invite you, ani ka mo sa Bukidnon Study Center, and try to experience, doon na kita'y around 104 art pieces. So daghan-daghan gyud mga kaglambaga. And we are also excited kay hapit naman ang opening sa atong klase sa Bukidnon State University. Ang ato pong mga estudyante, pohon-pohon, magkita-kita ta dinhi sa Bukidnon Study Center. So for this episode, maayo kaayo no kay naka-invite kita og duha ka guest, and this concerns about mga literature about sa Bukidnon. And it's not only about Bukidnon but about Mindanao, because we are also giving premium sa atong mga writers, sa atong mga authors nga go through sa pagsulat sa mga libro mahitungod sa kultura sa Bukidnon. So for our episode, Lambagaan Taw, mga kaglambaga, I consider it as a blessing kay atong na-invite ang isa sa atong mga partners. So mga 4 years ago, ang iyang book atong gi-launch dirigid mismo sa Bukidnon Study Center. And our guest this afternoon is the author of Jack and Ague, usa ka book para sa mga kabataan. And some copies available sa atong library sa Bukidnon Study Center if you are interested. Anhilang mo and try to explore the content of the book. So, atong paminawon karon ang atong interview with attorney Justine Villanueva, the author of Jack and Ague, and she is based in California now, pero ato siyang na interview, and we will invite you to have a word from our guest, attorney Justine Villanueva. Good morning, Attorney Justine Villanueva. Good morning or good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, we are happy that you are here with us in the Kaglambaga radio program. Ang Kaglambaga radio program is a weekly program sponsored by the Bukidnon Study Center. So, Justine, maybe the first part is kumustahan? Kumusta ka? Kumusta diha?
Maayo kaayo. Mag-acknowledge ng kuha na ako sa
yes, please proceed.
So Winton Patwin Homeland sa Davis, California. It's about 7 o'clock here, so gabi, that's where I am. And acknowledge po ko sa akong ancestors nga taga Malaybalay, taga Bukidnon. Akong lola gikan sa Kalasungay. Na apelyido niya is Apoong. Akong lolo, ang ngalan sa akong lola si Felipa, si Lola Epang. Ang aking lolo, by way of Cebu, nakaabot siya sa Malaybalay, Bukidnon. Si Lolo Pilimon, Lolo Imon, na atay tindahan sa atpang sa Bukidnon State University, Masagana Store. I used to listen to DXMB there. So naay ka may history with listening to radio stories. So anyway, kumusta ko? Maayo. Very excited to be here. Very grateful. Pasalamat ko nga i-invite ko ninyo.
Thank you also, Justine, for accepting our invitation, and gi-consider good sa Bukidnon Study Center and Bukidnon State University that you are one of our partners. And of course, we remember the Jack and Ague and other books that you are working on. So, Justine, you are working with the Sawaga River Press. So, kanang itong pag-una yun ako pagtanaw or pagkabasa sa Sawaga River Press, na ano ko na amaze ko. And why Sawaga? What is in that name, Sawaga?
Sawaga yun. Naglang memory sa ako for Sawaga, no? So, I grew up sa Bukidnon. I went all the way sa high school, sa Bukidnon State College High School. So, daghan, all my memories, mag-cutting class, madto sa Sawaga, mag-abot, sa fertilizer for our, for the garden sa valley, daghan mga gira-gira with the friends from Central School, So when I think about my past and how I was raised and what I brought with me here, ang Sawaga River, dako kay siya nga part sa akong kinabuhi. And so I immigrated here sa US when I was 16. And so when I had a chance to really remember akong childhood, muna siya gidang nag-come up sa akong brain first time. And then also acknowledging to nga ngayon nila water is life, big dako kay nga part sa akong kinabuhi. So I use that as a way to remember myself, remember my past, but also acknowledging na anak ko din sa America, but there's a lot of water still, like we have creeks and rivers, and so it's a way for me to connect sa akong life before, even though naanak ko din because water in a way, it's this.
Yeah.
And we are all water too, right?
Yeah.
4 elements within our bodies. So it's very meaningful for me, and especially the Sawaga River. So
So-
Shout out to my classmates kung na ay mga taga BSc high nga mga classmates nga naminaw. I know daghan ta mga cutting classes nga mga memories related sa Sawaga.
Yes, now we know nga ana ang background sa Sawaga. No? Are you working with the team, Justine, in the Sawaga River Press? Unsa ang objectives? Can you share to us unsa ang objectives of the Sawaga River Press?
Sure. So actually, nag-start ni siya before it became Sawaga River Press. Nag-start ko sa una, mga more than 10 years ago, a non-profit called Libro para sa Tanan. So ang objectives na ako was to donate mga used books from here. Padala na ako sa mga libraries in Bukidnon through the help of my cousins who are still there, sila Alma Co Villanueva. So muto siyang beginnings ani nga non-profit, but then afterwards, after pila ka years of donating books, nakahuna-huna ko nga gasend ko mga mga English books, which is still good, but I was thinking nga dili kaayo relevant ang materials to the community nga akong hatagan, and I thought maybe mas maayo if we make our books dinhi sa America, and then mag-donate somehow from our proceeds, from our profits to the like to the Bukidnon Study Center for that, so that naa si gamay nga tabang for them to actually make their own books. So muna nga kung overall goal instead of donating. So then we changed, nag-create ang dami og Sawaga River Press na publishing part sa non-profit. So now ang goal namo is to publish books like Jack and Agyo, hopefully na ay relation to Bukidnon because where I'm from, and then and be able to help through what profits we make, help future storytellers from the Bukidnon community also. So that's kind of what our vision and our goal is. Ang team namo right now, we're a small team. It's actually comprised of myself, my sister, my younger sister, Julianne, and then my husband, Michael Limes. And then we have a team of creatives like our illustrators and our graphic designers. And every once in a while, we hire somebody to help us with the marketing, but on a as needed basis. We're hoping to expand, so it's an exciting time right now because we have plans of expanding and creating more books. So wish us luck.
Okay. Yeah, that's very inspiring, no? And then Justine, you have mentioned about the Jack and Agyo. What inspired you to write that book?
Yes. So I know, in case.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's hard because you learn one, but that's okay. So many reasons. This is actually it's a personal story for me and my kid. When si Jack, actually his name is Jack. Pag bata pa siya, gusto siya mahimong Harry Potter, mag-costume as Harry Potter. But giingnan ko niya nga, Mama, I don't think I can become a good Harry Potter. Naing ko siya, ano man, like, like, maayo kay kang Harry Potter, all the mga magic, mga incantation nila. And then he told me, ingon niya nga, well, because my skin is gray. Wala daw siya nag-match sa color ni Harry Potter. So, at that point, nakahuna ko, oh my gosh, at that young age, he was probably 6, maybe 7. Na-internalize na niya ang message, from the books. The books na he read. Gamay ra kaayo ang mga characters nga, either Filipino or even just brown skin. It doesn't have to be Filipino, just because most of the characters are like mga puti, blonde ang buhok. I mean, That's how it was when I was growing up. I don't know for probably same for you, right?
Yeah.
So na-realize na ako nga even at that age, na-shape na siya. Na-shape na ta. We have been shaped by the books that we are reading without being conscious about it. So that was my main thing was, okay, let's write a book that celebrates these kids instead, you know? And part of the message that I also wanted to get out there through the story is that also we, yung mga adults, no, parents or educators or just storytellers sa ating community, we have some kind of responsibility a little bit to share what we know because gamay ra kayong out there, and then we have to make the effort to just pass what we know. So that's why oral storytelling for me is such a big thing that I want to push for. To just pass on our knowledge, especially like this. As you know, I featured Binukid with the help of the Bukidnon Studies Center. I don't know how to speak it, but we tried to get that in Binukid, also Bisaya, and then we also had a little bit of Paypayin. And it's just really planting the seeds for the kids now to read this book and say, oh, you know, first of all, oh, I can see myself, but oh, also there are stories beyond Harry Potter. Like, you know, there's Agyu. I asked my dad, my papa, who grew up in Bukidnon, and he's never heard of Agyu, right? And I don't know if my classmates know about Agyu. I know you know about Agyu, but I didn't know about Agyu, right? And lisod kayo mag-research kaya mayra ang mga materials out there.
Yes,
So,
oo.
so muna siya, I mean, language, and then stories nato, and then really for me also is like a big thing about this is self-identity, you know, self-identity, self-love, self-pride, like it's all about ourselves, because for how many years under colonization we're beat down, no? And then think we're inferior to the Spaniards and now to the Americans. We always like, we feel like we've been beaten down and we're fractured, broken tayo, no, na-break tayo, but we're still here. So that's why my push is like being here, hearing about our stories, despite all the attempts of all those colonizers to kind of erase us and our identities. We're still here, and that's kind of a big resistance, right? It's like a big, you know, I'm gonna do my outside, but like it's a resistance to being colonized. So I hope that we kids and also adults will read this book and be reminded to keep loving ourselves, keep healing by learning about our ancestors, about our stories, because that is our way of kind of resisting. We're still here. So I don't know. Long story, long answer there, Marisol, but
Yeah. That's precious. That's very precious, no, kay. For the Kaglambaga, we have varied listeners and viewers. So we always invite the faculty members. Pero mina mo i-remind ang faculty members, especially those who are teaching Bukidnon Cultural Studies. And then we have students, college students, taking Bukidnon Cultural Studies. And statements like this, helpful kaayo ni siya, Justine, the one that you are sharing to us right now, for sure, maka-inspire po sa atong mga faculty members, especially those who have skill in writing stories. Makatabang kaayo, no? So, for us also in the Bukidnon Study Center, so far, ang katong book nga Jack and Agyu, the city government is still preparing, murag kumbaga gina-renovate nila ang ilang city library. Murag na ay ilang buhaton. And we are ready to supply materials. And that includes Jack and Agyo, mga binukid material for those who want to learn binukid language. Katong elementary gilangyod nga pag-eskwela sa binukid, our materials are ready. And we are now collecting other materials para pod makatabang sa atong city government. So we are happy that we have our Jack and Agyo, of course, and more will be coming. What is next after Jack and Agyo? Do you have the next?
Well, yes, so we have been working on our work in progress book on Mungan, which also the Bukidnon Study Center is helping also collaborating with us. I'm very excited about this Mungan. Also, I didn't know about Mungan growing up. Again, it's something that I learned as I got older, and then I was like, what? You know, Babaylan, Bukidnon, you know, like this is somebody that we all should know. We from Bukidnon should, you know, have knowledge of. So that's our that hopefully will come out at the end of this year. It's another children's book. So that one is also, it's called Mungan and Her Lola, or Mungan and Her Lola, yes. And it's a story about rituals of care. I'll give the short summary, which is basically Mungan, who's a little kid, wants to make her Lola happy because nasad ang yung Lola. And so by way of like the rituals of care, like nagluto siya og linagpang, naghimo siyang hilot sa iyang Lola, nagtukar-tukar siya og mga ancestral nga instruments, and then in the end we hear Lola tell her story about how it was before she came to the United States as a nurse. So it's an immigration story from Lola, and it kind of like it touches on the grief, because you know, here in America, and probably in a lot of countries too, where older people go to, you know, when they're older and they don't have the chance to create a lot of relationships. It's very lonely, no?
Yeah.
To be away from your family in a new place, ganon. So there's a lot of grieving that we as a community haven't really had the chance to process, especially the older folks. But anyway, so this is about healing, intergenerational caring, not just Lola caring for Apo, but also Apo caring for Lola and everybody else in the family. So I'm very excited about that one. It's near and dear to my heart, they say. So wait for it.
Yes. And we are equally excited for the coming out of that book ba. So I am imagining na po yung mga book launching for that next book. Yes, Justine, about the San Francisco Pistahan, because I went through some readings and research. Naay kaning San Francisco Pistahan, it's coming. Can you walk us through with this activity?
Sure. So it's a yearly thing. I think it's considered to be the biggest West Coast, at least West Coast here on our side, no, California. Celebration, but it's an international celebration of Filipino community, Filipino heritage, culture, lots of food. So it's a 2-day weekend. We have a parade. It's a huge parade up and down Market Street, I think, in San Francisco. And then the festival takes place in the Yerba Buena Gardens, and then it's just nice to be there and to see a lot of Filipinos show up. I'm gonna be there actually. Now that you mention it, I will be there on Sunday the 13th, and I will be reading the Mungan book And it's part of the Philippine American writers and artists group that have gathered 4 other children's books to read their books. And then but there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of stuff, a lot of vendors, especially for food, because ganahan ta mo ka.
Murag ma-imagine ako, no, it's a gathering of Filipinos on that particular day with all the food. Justine, we appreciate your advocacy. Kanang ang imong advocacy is worth to be shared to others, no? Can you inspire our young people here with that advocacy that you have?
Yeah.
Kay naaman may mga listeners nga mga BukSU students and even outside BukSU. Can you inspire them with a message, Justine?
Yes. It's hard. It's hard to keep it short. Pero I think for me,
Take your time.
This whole tawagon ko na lang siya journey. For me is a healing journey for myself, because na-realize na ako na I am because of our country's colonized past. I have been colonized in the way I think, and the way I maayo kay English sa una. Oh my gosh, I'm a top student, ganon. But not really realizing that sometimes that's also an indication of how colonial mentality has taken over your brain. So for me, this has been a healing journey, and what I learned for myself and how I've kind of come back to myself and learning about myself, and therefore my ancestors and my history had really been not just for me, but hopefully also healing, helping others in their journeys to also make themselves whole. I don't know if that makes sense. So I am a big advocate for telling your stories. So obviously, I'm a writer, and I also publish books. So I really encourage everybody to not just write, because you don't have to write, but to tell your stories in the way that you can creatively. You can dance, of course, you can do visual arts, however way you can tell your story. And this is the big thing for me that I learned, to be proud of that story, because sometimes mag-worry ka, mag-doubt ka sa imong self about that. Pangit man ang akong story. Kasi may gusto maminaw sa akong story. Akong story, walay beginning, middle, end. Dili siya ka-follow sa arc na ingon na what a good story should look like. Daghan ka ito mga doubts about atong knowledge. So what I want to encourage you out there is to just trust nga ang imong lived experience is valid, and it's just as good as anybody else's. And just own it. And sometimes it may feel nga dako kay siya nga it's overwhelming, but just do the little thing that you can, and it will over time build. So I hope that inspires somebody, because for me that was one of the biggest thing that I learned, that my stories are good. Like my stories are, I don't have to feel inferior about my stories. Like they're just as good. So kung naamang ganit ko yung ma-advise mo, gid na akong i-advise. Tell your story. Ayaw kaulaw sa imong story, I guess. Ayaw kaulaw-ulaw. Walay kaulaw-ulaw.
Yeah. We will declare that to our students, Justine, nga dili gyud mo muulaw sa story, no? Kay it's true nga tsada baka akong story, but here coming from you, no? And I'm sure nga ma-inspire ang atong mga listeners, especially our students. So bisag ako, Justine, no, na-inspire po with your message today. So maybe you have some announcement so that we can also follow through your activity or mga shout out baka ha, Justine?
Pwede ko mag-shout out sa akong family nga natin
Yeah.
ha. So ako mga tito and tita, tita Cor, tito Alex, tito Ben, tita Flor, tita Pai, and all my cousins who are there. A lot of them, they know who they are. So shout out lang ko kasi
Yeah.
this is a very rare experience na pwede ko mag-shout out. And for updates sa among activities, ang among website is sawagariverpress.com. So if you want to check out kung sa among mga new books, new activities, that would be the place to check it out. Yes.
Yes. Thank you so much, Attorney Justine Villanueva. But Justine, this is not the first and the last ha. Naapa tayo mga
Yes,
incoming
oh my God.
mga encounters in Kaglambaga. So the Kaglambaga would always look forward for more meetings with you. Okay ra, Justine?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay kaayo. And ako kayo ko pasalamat yun, Ma'am Sol, for the help nga i-extend sa ako sa Bukidnon Study Center. Because I know in the few moments that I have, I don't have the expertise, no? I don't have the all that's necessary to anyway, all the help that you have given helped me with putting together the book. Very much appreciated, good kayo. So it takes it takes a community to raise a child, raise a book, to create a book.
Yeah. So in behalf of Bukidnon Study Center, thank you very much, Attorney Justine Villanueva, for spending time with us in this program nga Kaglambaga. So mga Kaglambaga, diha lang sa mo, sa pipila ka minutos, mubalik ang programa nga Kaglambaga.
Sumala sa Republic Act 9262 o ang Violence Against Women and Their Children Act of 2004, ang VAO mao ang pag-abuso sa lalaki batok sa ilang kaugalingong asawa, kanhing asawa, babaeng aduna sila'y sexual nga relasyon, o babaeng nahimong inahan sa iyang anak o sa anak sa babaeng iyang karelasyon. Ang kining maong pag-abuso mahimong mahitabo sa sulod o sa gawas sa panimalay nga magresulta sa nagkalain-laing pagpang-abuso sama sa pisikal, sexual, psikolohikal nga kadaot o pag-antos, o ekonomikanhon nga pag-abuso, lakip na ang pagpanghulga sa maong mga buhat, baterya, pag-atake, pagpamugos, pagpanghasi, o arbitraryong paghikaw sa kagawasan. Ako si Red Robin P. Babanto, ang Gender and Development Coordinator para sa College of Nursing. Maghiusa kita, hunungo na ang violence against women.
Sa ngalan sa University God Resource Center o Bukidnon State University, nagkahiusa kita sa pag-ingon, atong tapuson ang violence against women.
Ang violence against women mahimong mosampot sa depresyon, post-traumatic stress ug uban pang mga anxiety disorder, kalisod sa pagkatulog, eating disorders ug pagsulay sa paghikog. Nakaplagan sa mga pagtuon nga halos doble ang posibilidad nga makasinati og depresyon ug alcoholism ang mga babayi nga nakasinati og violence gikan sa iyang intimate partner. Kini sumala sa World Health Organization. Ako si Jendel Claire S. Aplaca, ang Gender and Development Coordinator para sa Non-Teaching Employees Association. Maghiusa kita, hunungo na ang violence against women.
Sa ngalan sa University God Resource Center o Bukidnon State University, nagkahiusa kita sa pag-ingon. Atong tapuson ang violence against women.
Thank you very much, Attorney Justine. O atong ipahibalo sa atong public no nga doon na kitay incoming a partnership sa Sawaga River Press. In fact, a meeting with her and with her team mahitabo, and that is a partnership between Bukidnon Study Center and of course ang iyang ginahandle nga Sawaga River Press. So we give importance sa mga authors nato kay dako kaayo ikatabang, especially in promoting our culture. And with that, mag-proceed na sa atong next episode in saan tasiran ang ato pong chairperson of the Language and Letters Department sa Bukidnon State University ato pong na-invite, because this department is the one responsible in teaching Bukidnon Cultural Studies. So mauna siya ang institutional subject nato diri sa BukSU nga offered to all college students. Dili ka makagraduate if you are a college student sa BukSU, you cannot graduate without passing through this subject. So with that, atong gi-invite ang atong chairperson sa Language and Letters Department, because this department is responsible in teaching Bukidnon Cultural Studies. And in fact, katong gisulat ni Attorney Justine Villanueva nga book, Jack and Ague, isa pod to siya sa mga references nga atong gigamit dinhi sa university. So to have more understanding unsa ka importante ang literature, atong na-interview si Dr. Salome Escalona, ang chairperson sa Language and Letters of Bukidnon State University. Ato siyang paminawon. Mayadahal daw niya kita karon sa atong segment nga Insaan Tasiran. We are blessed today because here with us is the chairperson of the Language and Letters Department of Bukidnon State University, Dr. Salome Escalona. Ma'am, maayong buntag.
Good morning.
Ma'am,
Thank
kumusta
you.
mo, ma'am?
Okay, padayon laban lang gyapon, padayon sa kinabuhi. Busy sa department, pero go lang nang go. Next week klase na sad, start
Yes,
sa
ma'am.
klase. So nagkuan na pod ang mga maestra busy sa pag-prepare sa mga ilang personal o para pod sa klase.
Good to hear that, ma'am, no, ano na po ta, excited na po ta mag-welcome sa atong mga students. We have interviewed Attorney Justine Villanueva, ma'am, katong partner ninyo sa together with the Sawaga
Press.
Sawaga River Press. So nindot kaayo ang iyang ngalan.
Exactly.
So, ma'am, naay ka to bang book bitaw nga Jack and Ague, and
Yes,
we are
ma'am.
sure nga naay partnership with Attorney Justine with the Language and Letters. Giun sa pag-benefit sa department, ma'am, ang katong book.
Yes, ma'am. We are partners, and we are, I will say that we are proud partners. We take pride sa among partnership with Attorney Justine, no, kay just as you know, ma'am, I'm sure that you know, si award-winning siya. Two times siya na-awardan sa international body, no, as best children book. And last year, was it last year or 2 years ago, nahimo pod siyang list na publish pod siya or parts siya sa LGU, sa malay-balay nga gi-awardan o published book sa Bukidnon, no? Kanang nagkuan siya, nag-promote siya sa culture o sa history sa Bukidnon. So we take pride as partners with Attorney Justine. We were translators. we were taken as translators sa iya kay the book man is original in English dayon naa day translation into Binukid. Imo man tingali ang Binukid ma'am because we collaborate with you as well sa imong office no, and then to Cebuano dayon to Filipino. So very happy kayo mi again we nagkuan gid me very very proud no, we take pride to being part of Attorney Justine's book, and we hopefully will be invited again para ana na pud nga iyang na siya upcoming nga book, di ba ma'am?
Na siya another book.
That is why sa kuan pod no kanang part of the thrust of the BAIL program is translation studies. Na ami subject our students are taught to be translators.
Wow.
Usa gina siya ka subject nga kay one of their career pathway will be translators. And we make them we teach them how to become responsible translators nga ang translation is not just merely transfer of interlingual transfer, but it is also an intercultural transfer. So kinahanglan gid na ay at the end of the translation product, kinahanglan gid na ay intercultural communication, na ay intercultural understanding. So dili lang siya as easy as you give the equivalent of this English word to a particular nga target language. It's more than that. It's actually murag a protection of the cultural heritage of that target language.
Kuan ma'am, this is my first time nga nakabalo ko ma'am. Nalipay ko because it's not a merely translating word to another language,
It's
but intercultural
cultural understanding, intercultural transfer. So mura siya kuan ma'am ba kana. We teach our students that translation products is actually very crucial for peace and harmony. Nga kung kinaunsa gani na ang ilang pagtranslate no, because they do not do a thorough research ana na mahimo gina siyang muna siya ang makabuild na siya og chaos sa kuan. So amo na siya. That's very important no. Translation good and as the department as knowledgeable of this one, we claim to be knowledgeable kay unsaon na lang language man mi.
Yes, ma'am.
We know the responsibility sa pag-translate, and kana lagi we if there is going to be a chance to be called again para ma-partner na pod, ma-collaborate na pod ni Attorney Justine, it's going to be a welcome good nga kung an opportunity man.
So with that, ma'am, now I am having an idea kay this is also the season that we will produce materials sa Bukidnon Study Center, and we also need translators aside from writers. So makapangayo mig tabang sa inyo.
Sure kaayo ma'am. We know the responsibility aside from kadto ng mga responsibility. Kinahanglan gid siya nga dili lang siya as easy as kana lagi no. So kinahanglan i-research.
Okay.
So kinahanglan siya nga when it is research, there should be validity. No? There should be evaluation. Kinahanglan mo go through gid ka, maadto gid ka sa community. And kana siya kung when you are going to look for translator, be sure.
Yes.
Kung alam ma'am kanang kabalo ana nga mga
So kuan pod ma'am, nalipay pod ko because we are assured na ang katong ingon nimo nga the validity because it is research based. And that's also protection of our culture,
yes,
no?
Which is very important, no? Kay kuan man kana lagi siya one of the ways to protect our culture is also to protect the language of that culture. So maayo gid kay na nga work ni Attorney Justine. Attorney Justine is based na gid sa US, no? Pero she remains sa iyang mga roots. Dili man gani ka kuan, pero at least baka nang ang atong identity kabalo pa siya, iyang mga anak, because the book Jack and Agyo is actually murag ingana siya ang context nga iyang anak kay he can't connect sa kadtong mga nabasa niya sa mga books sa US. Lahi man gid ko tuan that mao di ay ni akong roots ana di ay, and it's very important ma'am no kay makabalo ta ba nga mao di ay ni nga ingani di ay ko kay ingani man ako mga for parents for ingani man akong community.
So I think murag maupod na ang isa nga na we received the benefit of that book of Attorney Justine nga Jack and Agyu, and she has another book ma'am coming, and then perhaps mag-communicate ra siya, and then she mentioned about of course the language and letters kay partner man mo ma'am, so we will prepare for that, maybe the department can prepare for that, so with the Bukidnon Study Center. So ma'am, we are in the Kaglambaga, and as part of as the chairperson of the language and letters, can we encourage our students to write, not necessarily kanang exhausted kay nga pagkasulat sa book, but can we inspire them ma'am to write a book or write a poem? Sure. Para sa atong students.
Oo, no, kana to our students out there, especially nga karon kay ang the common notion, the usual notion ba nga kinahanglan nga very rhythmic gyud naagid siya, dili naman na siya mao karon, dili na siya free verse. We also have kana siya nga mga nga kind of poetry or writing ba. It's an expression of oneself, no? Kung if you'd like to express sayang ang inyong kuan, sayang ang inyong talent, if you have that skill, write it down, and then make yourselves heard, no? Para kuan gyud kanang and for all you know, you are going to touch lives. Your stories will be able to touch lives. Your stories will benefit not just ang imong mga igsuon, but also the whole of Bukidnon. So go out there, ayaw mo kakuan, ayaw mo kalisang kay lahi na ang world karon, dili na siya, di ba ma'am Sol, dili na siya critical, dili na kay siya murag kuan na siya accepting na siya sa mga kung unsa may naan nimo nga pwede ihatag. So, no, encouraging the students as well. Now it's your time now, kung karon nga prime pa ninyo, no, when you don't have the whole time with you, naagi time nga dili na mo ganahan, mabisi na mo sa world, mabisi na mo sa inyong trabaho, mahikot na mo sa kung unsa man gani. So now nga naa pa mo'y time, then go out there, express yourselves through your skills sa poetry, not necessarily just the skill. Sometimes ang skill naman karon kay ma-develop. Kung naa na mo ana, kung it's nature sa inyo, well and good. Pero kung feeling ninyo ma-develop pa na siya, nag-practice pa mo, okay gyapon, mas maayo gyapon. Sige lang, go out there, and again, for all you know, mao din na siya beginning of something good, beginning of something nice, beginning of something lasting. No, you'd be able to connect to the world. Your stories will touch lives. Kana siya, Ma'am Sol.
So when you said ma'am nga makatouch sila og lives, I always remember one of the kanang atong ginahisgutan no, si Attorney Justine kay murag wala man gid sa iyang murag siguro plano niya nga mahimo siyang writer, but one day ang iyang work, and she's now based in California, pero kita diri kay naka-benefit gihapon, no? Ma'am, we are so thankful sa language and letters nga mga faculty, and maybe you also have message to mga shout out diha ma'am sa atong faculty, especially your team.
Yes, ma'am.
Magbigay na ang klase.
Magbigay na ang klase, no, to the unsa man mo yun ako powerful mara maglayo.
Okay na ma'am.
To my team, to the language and letters department team, no, padayon lang gyapon, we are a family in the department, ma'am. Ganahan ko sa department, ma'am, kay we consider
witness gid ko na ma'am.
No, it's not just work there, but kanang when we need to cry, when we need to laugh, when we need to celebrate, di anak mi pwede mi makakuan, pwede mi kana siya family nga kuan ting trabaho na sa ting klase na humana ang vacation, no? So I hope na enjoy ninyo yung vacation pero balik na sa trabaho, and let's have that zest again for life, no? Remember nga we are not just doing this one for ourselves, but more so because we want to develop, we want to multiply the world with positive people, with people, no, nga who are going to make a name in the industry. Kana siya ato lagi na siyang ibutang sa atong alimpatakan nga we are stewards of these children, and we want them to be successful, and their successes will also be our success. So padayon lang ta, strive lang, go lang ng go. Nagnanabi daw NBC, and hopefully with the result of NBC, hopefully kung si Ched, tabangan ta ni Ched. kung favor si Ched sa ato, padayon lang sa NBC. Dayon, have fun, no? Have fun na may mga problema din ana. Kuan lang gyapon. Kaya tanan nga problema, just like what we know in the department, tanan nga problema is teaching us a lesson. Dayon mahuman ra gid sad siya nga mga problema. Sige, guys, go lang nang go.
I agree with the statement of our chairperson of the Language and Letters Department of Bukidnon State University, Dr. Salome Escalona. Ma'am, thank you very much for spending time with the Kaglambaga. And sa pipila ka minutos mo, balik na ta, and atangi ang uban pa nato nga pagahisgutan. Mag-break sa ta sa pipila ka mga minutos.
Thank you, Ma'am Sol.
Thank you, ma'am.
Kini nga panglantaw nagresulta sa mga lalaki nga adunay mas daghang sosyal nga pribilehiyo kaysa sa mga babayi, sa ingon nakaangkon ang mga lalaki sa gahom ibabaw sa mga babayi. Uban sa gahom mao ang panginhanglan sa pagkontrol aron mapadayon kani nga gahom. Ug ang vow mao ang pagpahayag sa panginhanglan sa mga lalaki sa pagkontrol sa mga babayi. Ako si Chanel Mary J. Saison, ang Gender and Development Coordinator sa College of Education Elementary Laboratory School. Maghiusa kita, hunungon ang violence against women.
Sa ngalan sa University God Resource Center o Bukidnon State University, nagkahiusa kita sa pag-ingon, atong tapuson ang violence against women.
Sumala sa Republic Act 9262 o ang Violence Against Women and Their Children Act of 2004, ang VAO mao ang pag-abuso sa lalaki batok sa ilang kaugalingong asawa, kanhing asawa, babaeng aduna sila'y sexual nga relasyon, o babaeng nahimong inahan sa iyang anak o sa anak sa babaeng iyang karelasyon. Ang kining maong pag-abuso mahimong mahitabo sa sulod o sa gawas sa panimalay nga magresulta sa nagkalain-laing pagpang-abuso sama sa pisikal, sexual, psikolohikal nga kadaot o pag-antos o ekonomikanhon nga pag-abuso, lakip na ang pagpanghulga sa maong mga buhat, baterya, pag-atake, pagpamugos, pagpanghasi o arbitraryong paghikaw sa kagawasan. Ako si Red Robin P. Babanto, ang Gender and Development Coordinator para sa College of Nursing. Maghiusa kita, hunungon na ang violence against women.
Sa ngalan sa University God Resource Center o Bukidnon State University, nagkahiusa kita sa pag-ingon, atong tapuson ang violence against women.
Wake up in the morning, I turn on the radio, tune into my favorite station, EXBU. Hear the friendly voices of my favorite DJs, real music play. What a beautiful day, songs make you
Ang violence against women mahimong mosampot sa depresyon, post-traumatic stress ug uban pang mga anxiety disorder, kalisod sa pagkatulog, eating disorders ug pagsulay sa paghikog. Nakaplagan sa mga pagtuon nga halos doble ang posibilidad nga makasinati og depresyon ug alcoholism ang mga babayi nga nakasinati og violence gikan sa iyang intimate partner. Kini sumala sa World Health Organization. Ako si Gender Claire S. Aplaca, ang Gender and Development Coordinator para sa Non-Teaching Employees Association. Maghiusa kita, hunungon na ang violence against women.
Sa ngalan sa University God Resource Center o Bukidnon State University, nagkahiusa kita sa pag-ingon. Atong tapuson ang violence against women.
Daghan og mahinungdanon ang mga short and long-term health consequences sa violence alang sa kahimsog sa kababayen-an. Ang mga kababayen-an nga nakasinati og kapintasan o violence, mas taas ang risgo sa una, mga kadaot sa panglawas, ikaduha, dili maayo ang sexual and reproductive health, ug ang ikatulo, mental health consequences kini sumala sa United Nations. Ako, si Relay Jean R. Dalunhay, ang Gender and Development Coordinator para sa College of Business. Magkahiusa kita, hunungon ang violence against women.
Sa ngalan sa University God Resource Center o Bukidnon State University, nagkahiusa kita sa pag-ingon. Atong tapuson ang violence against women.
Thank you very much, Dr. Escalona, ang atong chairperson sa Language and Letters diri sa University. Ma'am, if ever na ay mga incoming activities, no, we will also continue our partnership with your department. So mga Kaglambaga, ubay-ubay ang atong nadunggan karon nga episode sa atong programa. This is a weekly radio program at DxBU 104.5 FM. This is every Friday, 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. But before ko mo padayon sa unahan, tungod kay gamay naman lang ang atong oras, I want to announce sa tanan nga mga IP students, we will be opening our classes sa August 14. And please expect IP students nga doon na napod kitay dako nga gathering. So right now, bisag wala pa nagsugod ang klase, please inform nga mangandam na pod ta, no? Because that's very important, mga IP students, because we will finalize our organization para pod ma-recognize ta sa university. It's good to work with the university kung ma-recognize ang atong organization. So that's an important announcement. And of course, we want to express our greetings sa atong team diha sa Office of the Vice President for Research, Extension, and Innovation nga ang among pinaka-head na si Dr. Karina Barroso. Ma'am, thank you very much sa imong support, ma'am, last time when we opened the exhibit. Thank you for your presence. And of course, ang mensahe sa atong President, Dr. Joy Molina Mirasol. Thank you very much, ma'am, for really supporting the activities and goals of Bukidnon Study Center. So with this episode that we have now, dagang kaayong salamat, no? Bisag wala si Dato Balinao, still, together with Dato Balinao, Virgilio Namok, ako si Soldin Layan, og nagpasalamat mi sa inyong pag-uban-uban kanamo sa isa ka oras dinhi sa programa nga Kaglambaga.
Inyong nadungog ang programang Kaglambaga. Hangtod sa sunod natong panag-uban matag Biyernes, alas 3 hangtod alas 4 sa hapon. Alang sa inyong mga komento o suhestyon sa maong programa, pwede ka mong mabisita sa ilang official Facebook page, mao ang BukSU Bukidnon Study Center. Salamat sa inyong pagpaminaw og dalaygon ang Dios.
Take the first step to your dream course. Bukidnon State University College admission test application is now available. Type admissions.buksu.edu.ph in